Yes, welcome signs of much-needed investment there, as new figures show that the West Midlands was hit harder than anywhere else in the country during the recession.
Unemployment in the region rose by 6% between 2005 and 2011. At its peak in 2009, the unemployment rate hit 10.4%.
Well, the worst affected area was Wolverhampton, where 7.7% of the workforce was still claiming benefits last month, the second highest rate in the country. Kath Mackey reports now on how Wolverhampton is trying to recover from the recession.
If ever there was a man in need of a stiff drink, it's John Denston. He invested £250,000 in the Whiterose Hotel in Bilston, and he's waiting for a return on his investment.
It's lived by hand to mouth day to day at the moment. One conjectures what you can do to squeeze any more blood from the stone, because there really hasn't anyone with the available money to actually spend. You know, they're all staying in, they're drinking in and they're dining in.
Clearly, he's not the only anxious investor in this area. 1,300 homes were to be built at the Bilston Urban Regeneration project, but developers pulled out, while in Wolverhampton, a £300 million development at Summer Row collapsed. So news that this area's fared worse than most in the recession has come as no surprise.
Well, as a student, I think it has hit quite hard.
It seems to be closing down, doesn't it, gradually?
I don't think it's as bad as it's painted. Wolverhampton's got a bad name, and I think it's a shame about that.
People here talk of a 40-year decline in manufacturing, so I guess it would be pretty easy for me to stand here and paint a pretty pessimistic picture of this city, but that wouldn't necessarily be fair, and it wouldn't tell the whole story, certainly as far as the council's concerned.
Well, in front of you is the new leisure centre, which is due to open this year.
Charles Green's job is to spearhead regeneration in the city. Building on a leisure centre and school academies well underway at the Bilston project, there's investment too planned for Summer Row and for schemes across the city.
We're working with our partners to do a whole range of things, from bringing forward sites for new development, creating new jobs, helping people who are out of work into work. So it is a difficult time, but we're working hard to get over it.
This area's got a very high work ethic. We've got 32,000 businesses employing about 500,000 people, so we're not shy of working. It's the type of work now has changed somewhat.
As for John Denston, he's hoping the turnaround in his fortunes happen before it's too late. Kath Mackey, BBC Midlands Today, Wolverhampton.
Earlier, I spoke to the former CBI Director-General, Lord Digby Jones, who's a business ambassador for the UK. Was he surprised this region was hardest hit in the recession?
No, I wasn't. I was saddened, extremely saddened. But it's not a surprise when you think where the base was. The base was manufacturing, exporting, wasn't it? And, you know, people didn't buy cars in the recession. People didn't buy bits in aeroplanes. People didn't buy all electronic engineering, the stuff we did. So around the world, they weren't buying it. Birmingham, the West Midlands gets hit. And secondly, and I think this is the real key to it, the other reason I wasn't surprised is the regions made it more of a problem to make the transition. You see, if you're going to do value-added stuff, innovative stuff, stuff the world will buy, and stuff actually that Britain will buy, you can't sell it on price. That's called a commodity. You've got to sell it on this. You've got to sell it on your skill. You've got to add skill. And Birmingham and the West Midlands generally has the lowest skills base, or one of the bottom three, in the whole of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, well, only the other day we had a company on this programme who are expanding, looking for engineers, couldn't find any, had to go abroad.
And for the region that gave the world the Industrial Revolution, it is awful. You know, we've got to gear ourselves up for tomorrow. And that means skill the people. And we've got this amazingly low skills base. When you've got things like people like Jaguar Land Rover, JCB, when you've got companies that are now doing really well again, and the world wants to buy their products, that's great. But what we've got to give them is skilled engineers.
So you're quite positive, qualified positive, should we say?
The qualification on positive would be, we've got some good universities, so at the top end that'll be fine. And I think people get it. So I think they do understand. The qualification on the positive is that we've got a lot of young people. I think it's the highest population of people under 25 in Britain, in the West Midlands.
Well,
and so therefore we need volume, we need economic activity to make it happen.
Lord Jones, thank you.
My pleasure.
A 72-year-old woman